Great Ocean Road is a mandatory pilgrimage for anyone visiting Melbourne. Join us as we explore the rugged beauty and dramatic coastline of Victoria's most famous attraction. In spring, I took my visiting relatives on a road trip through the Great Ocean Road to Mount Gambier in South Australia. In this video, we'll cover the highlights and key attractions of the Great Ocean Road. On this trip, we depart from Melbourne, stopping for breakfast at 𝗟𝗡𝗧𝗏 before visiting Split Point Lighthouse, the Memorial Arch, and Teddy's Lookout. After lunch at Apollo Bay, we visited the various lookouts, including 12 Apostles, before stopping for the night in Warrnambool. Also, YouTube says less than 5% of you are subscribed, so help a mate out and smash that like and subscribe button. If you are visiting Melbourne and don't want to rent a car, 𝗏𝗏𝗡𝗧𝗏 has some great tours, including the Great Ocean Road and other sites in regional Victoria. I have a list of curated tours in the link below, and if you use it, it helps us out and doesn't cost you extra. The Great Ocean Road is the most famous of Victoria's attractions, and is a must-visit pilgrimage for anyone visiting Melbourne. A winding ribbon of asphalt draped across one of the most dramatic coastlines on Earth, an ode to Australia's raw, untamable spirit. A long journey requires fuel, both for the body as well as the car. So we stopped at 4 Kings Coffee near 𝗟𝗡𝗧𝗏 for breakfast. The interiors are warm, inviting and refreshingly unpretentious. Wooden tables, coastal tones, and the comforting hum of an espresso machine working overtime. Brunch royalty in 𝗟𝗡𝗧𝗏 comes in the form of chili scrambled eggs, a dish that isn't just breakfast, but a wake-up call for your taste buds. These are creamy cloud-like eggs, swirled with just the right amount of spice to make you sit up a little straighter. The heat from the chili doesn't overwhelm, and there's a whisper of garlic, a touch of saltiness from the bacon, and the zestiness of fresh herbs and tomatoes to round it all out. 4 Kings Coffee and Food nails what a beachside cafe should be. Relaxed, welcoming, and full of food that makes you want to linger just a little longer. After breakfast, we make a stop at Split Point Lighthouse, the sentinel of the shipwrecked coast. Perched on the edge of Aries Inlet, this pristine white beacon, affectionately known as the White Queen, has been guiding ships through the Southern Ocean since 1891, guiding sailors through the infamously unpredictable waters of Victoria's shipwrecked coast. Before it was built, this stretch of coast was a death trap for sailors, with strong currents, jagged cliffs, and sudden storms turning this stretch into a graveyard of ships. Originally operated by lighthouse keepers, the beacon was fully automated in 1919. Visitors can take a guided tour of the top of the lighthouse, and if you're lucky, you could spot whales or dolphins playing in the waters below. There is a path on the other side of the lighthouse that leads you down to a lookout with stunning views of Eagle Rock, a jagged weathered stack of limestone and volcanic rock, shaped by millennia of wind and waves. This natural wonder is a favourite amongst photographers, especially at sunset when the rock glows golden. At low tide, you can walk down to the beach from the car park to see Eagle Rock up close. This lookout is also a favourite spot for whale watching during the months of May to October, as southern right whales migrate to the waters here to give birth and raise their calves. Another key site nearby is the pole house near Fairhaven. Yeah, it's a house, but not just any house. This modernist wonder sits suspended on a single concrete pole, overlooking the crashing waves below. It's a fleeting glance as you drive by, but it sticks with you. You can't help but wonder what's it like to live in a place where the horizon meets your living room every single day. A major milestone is the Great Ocean Road Memorial Arch, which is where the journey truly begins and signifies the start of the Great Ocean Road. Over 240 kilometers of pure coastal drama, limestone cliffs and thundering waves. Built by returned soldiers between 1919 and 1932, it is a monument dedicated to soldiers killed during World War I. They carved this road into the cliff sides, blasted through stone, so that the rest of us could follow in their footsteps, or rather their tire tracks. Situated near Lorne and along the coastal stretch lies a place that can silence even the most cynical traveller, Teddy's Lookout. At the car park, there are seats for a picnic, where you can have a meal with some of the feathery local residents. The cockatoos and kookaburras are not afraid of humans and are eager to help clean up any food scraps you have. After a short walk, you'll arrive at the lookout and the world opens up. The cliffs, the crashing surf, and the twisting curves of the road beneath you. This is a view you've been waiting for. It's the kind of place that makes you stop thinking about what you've done or haven't done in life and just be. Named after a local ranger named Teddy, who would guide visitors through these rugged landscapes, he was one of the first to see the beauty in the chaos here. A kind of working class visionary before such terms were trendy. Now it's a must stop on the tourist trail. The lookout is serene, a quiet place to reflect, but the view is savage and raw. The waves gnash their teeth on the rocks below, and the wind howls through the canyon, reminding you that nature doesn't care about your plans. It's bigger than you, and in that, there's a strange comfort. Hi everyone!
Hi,
Hello! Yeah, we're going on the Great Ocean Road.
Thank you.
Just finished Daddy's Lookout.
Okay.
Next, we arrive at Apollo Bay, a beautiful seafood haven with working class soul. It's one of those seaside towns that would be easy to overlook if it wasn't so damn beautiful. Nestled on the coast with the majestic ocean at its doorsteps and receiving the freshest catch of the day is the Apollo Bay Fishermen's Co-op. It's the perfect place to stop for lunch, as we were mesmerized by the smorgasbord of fresh seafood. After this, it was a winding drive through the Otway Forest before arriving at 𝗟𝗡𝗡𝗧𝗏𝗡𝗧𝗏, the star of the Great Ocean Road. But before arriving at the visitor centre, we first stopped at Gibson Steps, cut right into the face of the cliffs. These steps lead you down to the beach, where you can stand dwarfed by the towering cliffs and have an up-close view of the massive rocks, feeling the grit of the sand between your toes and the spray of salt in the air. It can be a humbling experience, being this close to nature's beauty and grandeur, if it wasn't for the darn flies. During the warm days, Australia's flies come out in full force, and this is where you gain ample practice of the Aussie wave. These pests have no fear of landing on your eyeballs or other parts of your face. I highly recommend grabbing one of these full-face nettings if you don't want to be constantly fending off these miscreants. After Gibson Steps, we arrive at the visitor centre, where the real show starts and you get to see the 12 apostles, or what's left of them. These towering limestone stacks rise out of the ocean like sentinels from some ancient world, battered by the winds and the waves. Yeah, there aren't 12 anymore. Not that there were even 12 to begin with. Mother Nature had other plans. But the ones that remain, they are enough to remind you of just how insignificant you are in the grand scheme. You stand there, on the platform, staring out at these crumbling giants, and you wonder, what am I even doing with my life? The visitor center is also where you can take a helicopter ride to view the apostles and the cliffs from up high. Despite the high price tag, I would recommend taking the helicopter ride at least once. I previously took it with my wife Angie in 2013. you are looking to save some money, you can try visiting them near the end of the day, where they sometimes offer discounts for unoccupied seats for the last flight of the day. 10 minutes drive west of the 12 Apostles Visitor Centre, you'll find Loch Ard Gorge. This beautiful horse-shaped gorge hides an eerie haunting tragedy. It was named after a shipwreck in 1878 that claimed 52 lives. The clipper Loch Ard was sailing to Melbourne, but had the misfortune to encounter heavy mist at this stretch between 𝗑𝗏𝗡𝗡 and King Island, which is also known as Shipwreck Cove. Unable to see the lighthouse in the mist, the ship sailed too close to the cliffs and sank on the breakers. Only two survived, a young sailor and a woman, who washed ashore on this very gorge. Visitors used to be able to walk down to the beach, but on this visit it was unfortunately closed due to a landslide. Sadly, it's unknown if the staircase will ever be reopened. A short walk from Loch Ard Gorge, the Razorback is a striking, towering rock formation that looks like something straight out of a fantasy novel. Like the nearby 12 Apostles, the Razorback won't last forever. This striking blade of rock used to extend further out to sea before years of wave and erosion leave you with what you see today. And that is part of its beauty, a fleeting monument to time, always changing, always evolving. Located in Port Campbell, you'll find Grassroots Deli Cafe, a cozy coffee place serving up good food as well as local merchandise such as scented soaps. I had their fried chicken burger and vanilla milkshake, which was delicious. Further along the road, you'll find London Bridge. There are actually two rock formations in Victoria named London Bridge. This one is naturally more majestic, while the other one is located southeast of Melbourne at 𝗏𝗡𝗧𝗏𝗧𝗏, Mornington Peninsula. A vast limestone arch once connected it to the mainland, and this natural formation was a popular stop for tourists, an easy walk across the bridge. On 15 January 1990, the natural arch that connected it to the mainland collapsed without warning, leaving two tourists stranded on the isolated rock. There they were, stranded on this newly detached rock, staring at the jagged gap between them and safety. The metaphor writes itself. It was a scene straight out of an old children's song. London Bridge is falling down. Nature had pulled the rug out from under them, reminding everyone how little control we actually have out here. They were eventually rescued by a police helicopter, plucked from their precarious perch while the world watched. It's a reminder that nothing lasts forever, not even these geological wonders. The landscape here is alive, always shifting, always taking something back. The last stop of the day for us was the Grotto, which is part cave, part sinkhole, and all mystery. This natural formation is like something out of a fantasy novel, where the ocean pours into a rock pool framed by an arch. It's quieter than the other stops, but no less dramatic. There's something meditative about it, a sense that this spot has seen eons of change and will keep evolving long after we're gone. With the sun setting, we arrive at our motel in Warrnambool. We chose to stay at the Blue Whale Motor Inn, which was affordable and serviceable. It had a small living room, kitchenette, bedroom and shower. After dropping off our luggage, we drove into town for dinner. Perhaps it's a fitting day for royal feasting, as we started our breakfast with 4 kings and ended the day with 2 kings burger. A local favourite where the grills are always sizzling, the buns are toasted just right, and the air carries the unmistakable scent of beef, cheese and perfectly fried potatoes. Forget the fries, the tater tots are the real MVP here. Perfectly golden, crispy on the outside and fluffy on the inside. These little bites of heaven are dangerously addictive. They come out piping hot, seasoned just right. The 𝗧𝗢𝗡𝗧𝗏𝗡𝗧𝗏 is what happens when a classic gets a little rebellious. The double beef patty is thick, juicy and seared to perfection, locking in all the meaty goodness. Melted cheese drapes over it like a crown, while caramelized onions and a pepper-infused 𝗩𝗡𝗡𝗧𝗏𝗡 sauce gives it a smoky, slightly spicy kick. This was a rich and indulgent meal to end the day. With that, our guide comes to an end. The Great Ocean Road is a trip that will leave you filled with stories, the kind that's written in the cliffs, the waves and the wind, in all its beautiful, brutal and completely unforgettable glory. I hope you found this guide useful, and if yes, please do hit that like and subscribe button to stay notified of our next video, where we explore the limestone beauty that is Mount Gambier in South Australia.